Oh, hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Affair on Poplar Lane. You're right, you've reminded me. As of, I think it was yesterday, Ed sent me a message saying that we've been on Twitch. Is it affiliated for 2 years now, Ed? Is that the thing? The resub? Yeah, resub, 24 months. So as soon as I made affiliate, Edmund Silveroak there in chat was my very first sub on day one. Came in, gave us the sub, and now is our marker for how old the stream is. And 24 months, here we are, 2 years in. Now full-time, doing this as a business, going to Gen Con, meeting people. Who knew? Hi, everyone. Anyway, let's go around and say hello to everyone. A quick note, first of all, unfortunately, That Salty Ginger couldn't continue to join us. They had something else come up, and they just couldn't make it anymore. So, unfortunately, Lauren won't be joining us. There's no drama or anything that's happened. We're all still good. It's just they couldn't make it anymore. So, we will have another new cast member next week, but they're not quite ready this week. So, we look forward to introducing them next week. Let's go around and say hello to everyone else. Let's say hi, first of all, at the bottom of the screen to Academic. Academic, oh, hi!
Hi, Scrat. Nice to be here again. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen today, really.
Oh, boy, yeah. Oh, boy, yeah. And Gabriel, I stumbled on your name for just a second, but I remembered. Sorry for stumbling. Next around the screen we have Ascension Matt. Matt! That way.
Hello. Sorry for the Keurig sounds in the background right now. Boom. Yes. So my name is Matt. I'm a filmmaker. Just ignore all of that. I'm a filmmaker. You can find me on Twitter at Ascension_Matt. And we stream on Twitch as well. I have a co-streamer, Sarah. We play video games and we play Dungeons and Dragons. Check out all those subs though, dude. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh my days, look at all of these coming up. Yeah. Edmund, thank you so much. Gifting 5 subs. That hits you, Matt. You get a sub. Ascension Stories gets a sub. Dan gets a sub. Jess gets a sub. Sweet Fatagans gets a sub. And Jelliot gets a sub. Jelliot is a power lurker, by the way. Jelliot is on this channel more than I am. I'm not even joking. When we raid other people, Jelliot stays here. I don't know how, but it's incredible. Now I'll go back to work. Thank you so much for popping in. New subs, if you would like to gift an advantage, please let us know whom to. Thank you. Last but most certainly not least, we have our wonderful Dungeon Master for this wonderful murder mystery, Jay. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I'm Jay. We're Jay Guns Gold. And, excuse this situation that's happening right here. My internet at home has been in a state as of late. Like, let me just leave it at that. It has not been pretty. So I'm going to be on here today. And I'm super excited to continue this murder mystery and see what you guys revealed. Also, I'm hearing a little bit of my stuff. My own, like I hear my voice a little bit.
Yeah, that's me. I'm fixing it.
And yeah, so I'm super excited.
And well, with that, Jay, shall we hand over to you for the beginning of this week's session?
Yes. So we left off. It was a rough day yesterday. Linda went home in a body bag. I guess she didn't really go home, did she? She got taken away by the paramedics in a body bag, and our 3 investigators met a whole bunch of the residents of Poplar Lane, very as erratic and kooky as they might be. But during the night, the rains turned into a light drizzle and eventually petered out into a mist. The sun rose over a now cloudless sky the next morning. The puddles that had formed along the streets and sidewalks began to evaporate, making the air especially humid and musty. The poplar stood still as the morning was breezeless. The Goodman's automatic sprinklers were running despite the rain the night before, and while walking his dog, Jake Romano crossed the street to avoid getting splashed. The mailman made his rounds, and there was no way for him to tell that the lane had been any different than it was the night before or the morning before. So we ended with Peter Reese going door to door, house to house, informing everyone that today he would be sitting Shiva, and invited you all to go. For those of you who don't know, in the Jewish religion, sitting Shiva is when a family who has lost a family member opens their doors and invites over friends, family, and neighbors to come and pay their respects and remember the people they lost. There's usually food involved, and maybe a rabbi will come and say a few words. And so he invited the neighborhood to come join as he sat Shiva the next day. But Shiva's not until the evening. So do you guys do anything during the day? Are you gonna spend the day working, or do you have anything that you want to look further into before Shiva?
No, as long as it's as it's during the week, like business week, Benjamin would be waking up pretty early in the morning to get the trading, the early morning trading in, and then be finished working around noon, and probably play video games or something.
Yes, well, Daniel will be, he doesn't work on those sort of shifts, no. He's more likely to be gone for a few weeks or gone for a length of period of time and then come back at some other time based on customer requests. So, no, he'll spend a little bit of time today. I think he might walk into town and buy himself a pair of binoculars. And he will spend the rest of the day sitting at his window, looking up and down the street for suspicious activity, especially looking at the Reese house.
Bino what?
Binoculars.
Okay.
Binoculars, of course.
Right.
So you spend the day looking out the window, or you spend a chunk of your day looking out the window, and there's no unusual. Sorry, my phone. There's probably gonna be a lot of like shaking and moving around. There's no unusual activity that you notice. I mean, people are going about their day. Sometimes they'll get in their car, drive off, but nothing that you wouldn't see on a normal day. Actually see Sheila. She just goes for her morning jog as she does every morning, and yeah, just a typical day on Poplar Lane. You never know that someone had died here the night before. And James, what are you up to this morning?
I think pretty much like Benjamin, he's gonna try to go to work as normally as possible, really. So that means just checking his email in the morning, trying to see where he's at with a couple of projects, planning that. Then around noon, going out to essentially check on his garden to see how that's doing after the rain of yesterday. And that's when he's sort of taking a look around the neighborhood as inconspicuously as possible, really trying to see if there's anybody walking home from places they're not supposed to be. But yeah, he's mostly, really being in his feelings with himself.
So much like Daniel, you don't see anything unusual, and your plants are thriving. They're green as ever, and yeah, there's even like a few like new buds that are sprouting out. So good on you. But as the day goes on, after high noon, probably around like 1:30, 2 p.m., you start to see some people on the lane make their way towards the Reese house. They're you know, a lot of them are dressed in nice jeans, you know, but and they're maybe wearing button-ups tucked into their jeans, that kind of thing. You know, it's like business casual kind of attire. And a lot of them are bringing food on trays covered in tin foil and saran wrap. Sheila actually has a basket with muffins in it and like a ribbon tied around the handle, but she just got that from the local grocery store. So you know, but she's probably, you know, that she's probably going to play it off as if she baked those muffins, but she didn't bake the muffins. You know, everyone here, it's a theme on the lane. People like to lie and say that they baked stuff that they didn't bake. But yes, Daniel is looking through his binoculars, and oh, he sees Sheila strutting. She is strutting. And yes, so
Strutting,
they arrive.
Suspicious. Mario Ruddy's suspicious.
Yeah, so one by one, people are making their way towards the Reese household. And you all kind of get the impression that, oh, I guess this is probably a good time to head over there. Do any of you go especially early or late?
I would arrive at an appropriate time. Not on time, but at an appropriate time. To the Shiva, or Shiva.
Shiva, yeah.
Shiva, right? Sorry. It's the Final Fantasy in me. I suppose I'd follow suit with the business casual, you know, like a button-up shirt, like unbuttoned to the fourth button or so, and like a blazer and some pants. And what kind of shoes, Scrat?
Oxfords or brogues?
Right, brogues.
Brogues. Oh,
Right.
Brogue man. Interesting. I would turn up late, not because I'm not ready. This is a funeral, so I will be going in my first mate's flying outfit, full regalia and a hat.
Well, that's actually something to note, that this actually isn't a funeral. So normally this would happen after the funeral, but the fact that this is happening now kind of implies like there might not be a funeral, which is just something for your character to note too.
Will do. So I will dress in that, but then I will be looking out my window and watching everyone else arrive. And originally, I intended to do this to see if anyone looks suspicious as they attended the wake. You know, anyone with any suspicious activity coming along. But then I'll also be looking at the things they're wearing and see if I'm dressed appropriately.
And yeah, you get you see people dressed like, some people are way more dressed up than others, and some people are dressed very casually. Actually, Peter Reese is dressed very casually, so you don't feel too out of place.
Right. Yes, I'll go in my jacket as well. Why not? If we're gonna do this thing, we might as well do it properly. Well, I'll turn up late, but not too late. Just fashionably late. Enough time for everyone else to be settled or whatever, and then I'll come in at the end. Bang.
Bang. Man, you really landed that delivery, dude. It's like, it didn't really matter what you said before that point. Just bang.
And what about you, James?
James has pretty much done the same as Daniel, really, just sort of looking through the window, trying to see what is appropriate to wear, because he's never been to anything like this before. So he's a little bit anxious about making an impression, and very much anxious about whether he's going too late or too early. So I think the second he sees Benjamin sort of head towards that's when he leaves, and he sort of casually trails behind Benjamin to sort of arrive at the same time.
Gotcha.
Just quickly, thank you very much, Estes, for the sub. Second month in a row, you have an advantage to gift to a player of your choice, or the DM. Sorry, Jay, carry on.
It's all good. So, yeah, so for those who arrive on time, when you get there, the atmosphere is quiet, but not as grim as you might expect. Right now it seems like Peter is reminiscing on some good times with the Goodmans. You notice that Sally Reese is nowhere to be seen. When Daniel gets there, it's around the same time that the Romanos get there. And you see that Jake Romano quickly, upon entering the house, darts up the stairs. And presumably, I mean, it's pretty easy to assume that he's going to see Sally. But yes, so and the Romanos also join in the conversation with the Goodmans, reminiscing good times. You see Sheila is making small talk with Mrs. Robinson, and Miss Robinson's boy is not here.
Mm.
There's like the kitchen counter has all the different food trays lined out.
What kind of food?
There's all different kinds of foods. There's meat dishes, there's vegetable dishes. You know, I mean, Sheila's vegetarian, so she made some veggie casserole, and the Goodmans love to make burgers, so they brought burgers, of course.
I'll grab a plate with a burger and maybe double up on the meat.
During the day, whilst I was scoping out the lane, I didn't happen to spot that little blighter over at the Robinson house up to anything. Did you see him popping out or anything like that?
No, you haven't seen him at all. He doesn't seem to have left the Robinson house, or at least you didn't notice him leave the Robinson house at any point.
Bloody suspicious.
And he drives a motorcycle that's actually still well, normally it's out on the driveway, but since it was raining yesterday, he parked it in the garage and it hasn't left since.
And she gives him access to her garage. I don't know. What's the world coming to?
Does she? Hey. Oh, hello, Mrs. Robinson. Okay.
Yes.
So Susanna, she's here, yeah.
Yeah, Suzanne is here. Yeah, she
what is she doing? Is she talking to somebody?
Yeah, she's in the conversation with the Goodmans and Peter Romano, and they all seem to be smiling, talking about Linda. And that one time she burnt her cookies.
Okay. I'll kind of just bring myself to the conversation. Just kind of stand there. And if I'm acknowledged, then I'll say then I'll mention how tasty the burger is. Of course.
And the Henry Goodman, he's the first to pipe up when you mention the burgers, and he says, "Oh, I'm so glad that you're enjoying them. I noticed that at the barbecue the other day, people missed out. So," and he kind of gives a little side eye to Peter Reese. So I thought I'd pitch in today.
Yeah. Of course. Geez, anybody see him? How's he doing?
Oh yeah, I mean, he seems to be fine. I mean, and he kind of gestures. Peter is standing maybe 2 feet behind him. I mean, considering it's a tragedy. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, he seems to be doing pretty well despite.
Oh wow. Well, I guess that's good. It's better than the alternative, I suppose.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, he's always been a positive soul. That's why I voted for him, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I won't get into the politics, and I'll wink at Susanna. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's it's a good thing that he's doing okay. It seems like it would be potentially a bad thing, being so soon right after the election. But
Susanna, when you wink at her, she actually she steps closer to like this conversation that you guys are having.
It seems like it might have been a bad thing, being so soon after the election, but if he's doing okay, then he's doing okay, I guess. So that's good.
And Susanna kind of like winces a little bit. She goes, "Guys, this really isn't the time to be talking about politics. It's just
I agree.
Very inappropriate.
I agree. Totally agree.
This is a Shiva. Let's have a little bit of respect." And she'll kind of turn away from both you and Henry Goodman with a disdain on her face and put her arm around Peter.
Okay, so Peter is pretty close by.
Oh, he's very close by. He's
okay.
Very close by, and now since you kind of like formed the separate conversation with Henry and Susanna, Peter was just talking to Lawrence Goodman.
Okay.
But now Susanna's rejoined them and put her arm around Peter.
It's good to see that, political opponents, supporting each other.
Henry's like, you know what? I think Susanna's right. Maybe we should just drop the political conversation right now. We're at the end of the day, they're all just people,
Yeah, people with differences, but putting those differences aside to support each other, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, people with differences, but we're all just people at the end of the day. We have to support each other when the times get hard. How are you doing? Were you close with Linda?
I wasn't, was I?
No, you weren't that close with her.
Okay. No, I wasn't that close with her.
Oh, well, I'm sure you'll still feel her loss, as she was you know,
Oh yeah,
we
sure.
have
She, one of the community street members.
figureheads. Yes, of course. She represented the best of us. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the burgers. I
Yeah.
have to go make my rounds.
Okay.
But it was great seeing you here.
Great seeing you.
Yeah, we should talk more.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll see. For sure. Like, maybe not at the gym. Just because maybe we both get into our, into a groove in the zone. Just gotta pick stuff up and then set it back down again.
For sure. Yeah, no, not at the gym. Gym is not social hour.
That's
Lawrence
right.
and I take our exercise very seriously.
Same page. But yeah, for sure, we'll talk some more. I'll be sure to say hi some more. If I see you out on the street. I never do that. I've always been a little bit of a recluse, kind of. A little bit.
Yes, you're a quiet one, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, you know what to say. Talk less and smile more, right?
Yeah, that's the Poplar Lane way. That
Right. That was some Alexander Hamilton for you guys.
Well, that's the Hamilton way. I'm sure Henry would have known that because Henry is a learned man. So yeah, and he'll walk off. And he'll like take a look at the burgers to make sure that people are eating them. And what are the rest of you guys doing?
Well, I do have a burning desire to talk to Peter, but seeing as he's currently tied up, I would like to go and investigate these things that Sheila made. Maybe speak to Sheila.
Cool. All right. So, Sheila actually right now she's just sitting by herself, and she's not eating. She's now just poking her food, and kind of staring off into space a little bit, and she looks a little bummed out.
And what were the things she made again? Like cakes or?
She made casserole.
Casserole. Oh, okay, so I'd probably get a bowl then, rather than hold it in my hand. And I would approach with the casserole. Sheila's casserole's pretty darn good. You've outdone yourself there.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. I'm not the best chef, if I'm being honest, but I just thought I'd help out. I feel so bad for Peter.
Yes, I bet. I mean, I think we all feel pretty awful. I mean, having only flown in yesterday, this is quite the shock, I must say. But poor
I can
chap.
only imagine. No.
Yes.
Yeah, no. It's a tragedy, and Linda was such a sweetheart.
Yes, indeed. Well, yep, it's just one of those things, I suppose. Say, are you feeling all right today?
No.
No, I
Linda
mean,
died yesterday.
no, Sheila, I'd get that. Maybe that's I just meant in yourself, in your person. I saw you running around in the rain last night. I thought you might catch your death of cold.
Oh no, it's fine. I dried off afterwards, but I just wanted to check on the Romanos and make sure that they're doing all right. So, but they seem to be doing fine.
That does make sense, yes. I didn't realize you were close to the Romanos.
It's, we go way back. We've both lived on the lane for a really long time, so we've gotten to know each other through the years. And
intimate relationship, is it? Close friends. I'm
Yes,
still
I mean,
getting to know you
Susanna's-
more, you know.
Suzanne is wonderful, and so is her husband. I mean, they're good people. They're good people, just as the Reeses are and were.
Could I possibly use like bullshit detector to just see if like
Bullshit detection.
yeah.
Yeah, you can.
And yes, that is a
so-
skill, everyone.
Yes, it is an interpersonal investigative ability. You can definitely use your bullshit detector, and you detect that she's thrilled that Linda Romano is dead.
I'm immediately using my fake smile ability.
Yes, you can use your fake smile, and she thinks that you are eating this up, and that she thinks that you're buying her bullshit 100%.
Like
You are
yeah.
being deceptive as a spy, well-trained spy.
Yes, of course. Well, it's a real shame all of that, but it's good that, you know, the Romanos and the Reeses have a good, solid friend in someone like you. Someone they can really rely on. With good casserole, no less.
I mean, I have a feeling I'm going to be cooking casserole for the Reeses for a long time. I mean, I'm not a great chef, but Peter, he knows nothing about cooking. He's going to need some help, that's for sure.
I place a hand on her shoulder and be, you're doing good work, supporting these people in a time of need.
Thank you so much. And she wells up a little bit. I try so hard, you know. I just hope I can be of some help, you know. And Linda, she was so sweet.
I will pull a hanky out of my top pocket. And here you go, clean yourself off. You're looking a mess. There you go. You don't want your makeup to run now, do you?
Oh my gosh, thank you. You're so thoughtful.
I didn't mean to stir up hard feeling, you know. I'm like.
No, of course not. And Linda would be so glad to see that you're here, you know. I think she always she took a liking to you, for sure.
Yeah, so in some ways I still feel very new to this community, but they made me feel welcome. Strange, I haven't seen. Oh, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I hope that we can continue to make you feel welcome, even in Linda's absence.
That you do. I haven't seen Sally around today, though.
I think she's probably taking this pretty hard. I mean, to be so young and to lose your mother. Listen, it's not easy.
What do you think about Peter? Do you think he's really doing as well as he looks, or do you think he's just putting on a face for the community?
Oh, he's always been good at putting on a strong face, you know. I mean, especially now as our new council person. He probably feels a lot of pressure right now to maintain his strength and dignity.
Yes, indeed. It's a shame that politics have to come into this sort of affair at all, really, isn't it?
Yes, it's a real shame. And she starts poking her food again.
I'm like still eyeing her. When we were talking about
Yeah.
Peter, is there
So-
anything
so-
there? Can I investigate? Like, how does
Well,
she?
your bullshit detector is still going off, and you could tell that she definitely knows that like their politics is like on her mind, and she's trying not to think about it. When you brought up politics, like it kind of set her off.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, I'll continue up small talk, but I think I've got everything I need out of this one.
After you have that conversation, a rabbi comes into the house. He has a hat on, a big bushy beard, and he's followed by an older couple. They look like they're maybe in their 70s, and their eyes are swollen, and from crying, and they seem really, really messed up. But you don't recognize them at all. And the three of them come in, and they go and they greet Peter, and Peter gives the old couple a really long hug. What are you up to, James?
As per usual during a social event, James has been feeling very awkward. And he's been walking around the room, sort of well, he's been eavesdropping, really. Kind of walking past Benjamin, walking past Daniel, and because in what room are we in? Just a living room?
So right now you're in, right now you're in the living room. It's an open floor plan. So the kitchen and the living room are kind of connected. And it's towards the back of the house. As you're walking around, you're stood a little bit further back, so maybe you've probably walked past the front of the house at some point. And you see that along the stairwell, some of the paintings have been rearranged from how you remember them.
Yeah, I think the moment he recognizes that that's different, he starts almost actively looking for stuff that is different, because he now knows he's where it might have happened, and he is, well, his investigation senses are tingling. So he's just gonna sort of, as he's trying to pretend to look for somebody to talk to, just be that awkward person who just walks around at a party with no real goal. He's actually looking around at the place, seeing if anything's out of order, seeing if there's traces of anything.
Okay. I am going to need you to make I'm gonna need you to make an unobtrusiveness test.
Ooh.
And can you tell me your results? Because I don't have full 20 open.
Ooh. Is that everyone making that test?
No, just James.
Just James.
That's a 1.
Okay,
I haven't
so
got anything to add to it.
okay, that's fine. So you step on the first step, and it makes like a really loud creak, and and from the top of the stairs, James and Sally both come out of their room, and look down at you down the stairs. And they don't even say anything. They just like kind of stare at you from the top of the stairs.
I just look at you up and I'm like, Sally.
Or say Jake and Sally, rather. Sorry.
Hey. How are you? Are you?
She has tears like that are like running down her face that she was probably crying before she came out. And when you ask her how she is, she blubbers and then dashes back into her room and slams the door. And Jake is still stood there. He goes, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? This is
No.
This is not, you're not supposed to be coming up the stairs. This is a hard time for Sally.
I wanted to ask Sally, but never mind. Never mind. He just sort of like skulks away. He feels very embarrassed. He doesn't even feel like explaining himself to a kid.
Yeah, and Jake seems like really weirded out that you were gonna come upstairs, because it's like, this is, they're the only two that are up there. So
Yeah, James just looks mortified to his core as he sort of skulks back, and he sort of goes back to the kitchen, and he just stands at the counter like, oh god.
when you're stood there quiet, you see that Mrs. Robinson she kind of looks like you right now. She's kind of by herself at this point, and she seems distraught, but a lot of people here seem distraught, so it's not that unusual that she's in particular staring at the people that just entered the house.
I think James would be too nervous to talk to her at this point, considering their complete social faux pas yesterday. So he's, I think he's gonna sort of stay near her and try to eavesdrop a little bit more on what's happening in the room, actually. Trying to keep himself a little bit unassuming.
Let's see. Okay. So you you listen closely at the conversations that are being had, and it sounds like the older couple that came in might be Linda's parents.
What is Peter's reaction to seeing Linda's parents?
He seems very warm and welcoming to them, and it seems like they have a good relation. What was that?
Is he engaging with them right now?
Yeah. Right now they're talking, and they seem to be asking him questions about like what's going on, and what happened, and he's just kind of telling them it was a complete accident. She fell down the stairs, and it's it's a disaster and it's heartbreaking, but nothing that would like blow your mind, nothing.
Yeah, fell down the stairs though. Okay. Is Henry or Lawrence standing anywhere close by? Wait, which one that I was talking to Linda at the party that was Henry, right? I think that was Henry, because I think Lawrence was the one that was.
Yeah. Henry was the one talking to Linda at the party, and Lawrence was inside being grumpy.
Yeah, hella rude. Yeah. Okay. Is Henry close by?
Yeah, Henry's actually now like chatting with Sheila, and he just like told Sheila a joke, and now like the two of them are laughing and sharing a drink.
Okay. Um,
But
Let's
yeah,
see.
you.
I'll go over to those two then.
Mhm.
Henry, I gotta say, man, like these burgers twice in 1 week, I can't get enough of them. Like we gotta hang out more, I think, and under better circumstances, of course. Man,
That's
what?
fine, but don't expect me to give you the recipe.
I don't want no recipe. I just want to eat them. I can't cook. I can't cook for shit. That's you. That's all you, man. Yeah. I think about having thirds here in a second. But yeah, it's I didn't expect to see Linda's parents here, but I guess that makes sense. I heard Peter tell him what was happening. Something about falling down the stairs. Yeah. Crazy situation.
They must be so heartbroken. I mean, losing your child.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone expects for their children to die before them.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Also, crazy. I don't know. Like, man, the explosion must have been a hard fall.
Explosion.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, that I don't know. I mean, these stairs are really old, and I'm sure. I mean, all these houses have been renovated hundreds of times. I mean, the stairs are one of those things, that no one really gets around to. I'm sure that it was just, like you said, a hard fall on some creaky stairs.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope that we can get together and have some more burgers, and maybe I can bring something, to the party to return the favor or something. Like I don't know, like what's your drink of choice?
Anything fruity.
Okay. Yeah, totally. Also, I got some stuff that, some other stuff, you might like. I'll just bring it. I keep it at the house now, but I'll bring it next time, and I'll keep eating your burgers because these are really good.
Yeah, and you make sure that you hold the railing. Okay.
Of course, I've learned my lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we all have. Yeah.
I hope we all have, absolutely. And Sheila's like, I'll drink to that. And
Yeah.
Right. Yes, of course. Is Daniel or James anywhere close by?
If Sheila's left me, I'll just be like floating.
It's not a small. I mean, it's not a massive space. Like these are big houses, but like everyone's pretty much within eyesight unless you're like by the stairs area, which is in the front of the house, because it's like open floor plan kind of thing.
Cool. If I can like kind of pull Daniel aside a little bit and offer him a burger as I'm fixing myself another one. I'll just kind of very like in a low voice recount what I overheard from Peter and Linda's parents with the whole falling down the stairs thing. And I'll say, do those stairs look exploded to you?
No.
Yeah, they don't look exploded to me either.
So, what are you thinking?
I think he's lying.
Oh, well, that's obvious. I just had a very. Can we discuss privately? If I like glance around, is anyone listening in? James.
Like.
If it's just James nearby, then I'd probably carry on. But if there's anyone else nearby to hear, then I might.
James can hear. Probably I think James is probably in the area and listening particularly to you guys. I mean, because you guys are all communicating, but the rest of the people are off like in their own little private worlds right now.
Had a very enlightening conversation with Sheila. Oh yeah, doing her very best to look after the Romanos and the Reeses in this difficult time. There's something else going on there. She was lying something awful, and Sheila, Peter.
You all right, Daniel? You need a drink of water?
No, I'm coughing to emphasize. I believe that maybe Sheila might be in some other way involved. What's going on?
You think Sheila killed Linda?
I don't think she necessarily killed Linda, but I tell you what, everything she said to me just a minute ago smelt funny.
Right.
Very good at fake crying, that girl. Very good.
So what are you saying?
That her waterworks are very good. I'm not sure exactly what I'm saying yet. I'm just saying
Right.
that
Okay. Yes. I.
Sheila's involved somehow, and she's not just in this to look after the families. She's a lot closer to the Romanos than simply being friends for a long time.
I see.
And I suspect she's also a lot closer to Peter.
Closer
I mean-
how?
Well, you saw the way she spoke to James last night.
It was. She seems nice.
Perhaps I'm just a suspicious old coot, Benji. Perhaps that's what it is. I don't want to taint your perceptions. I'm just saying I have suspicions myself.
You're saying she's easy.
I'm not saying that she's easy, Benji, but if you'd like to discover that, that's up to you. I am saying she might be a little promiscuous.
Daniel.
I mean, she's potentially implicated in a murder. Benji, if you want to
But
take
what
a
if she
shot,
doesn't
be my
murder
guest.
me?
I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to impart wisdom here. If you feel like you've got a shot, Benji, then go right on in. Maybe you'll find out something more.
Right on in, I will go.
Don't beat about the bush. Hey.
Why didn't you tell me this to start with? You're sitting here Daniel, I thought we were friends.
I would be
I drank
nervous.
all of your share.
Yes, that you did, and we did move on to the brandy too, but, like, you know... I'm just saying be careful, alright? She's implicated.
I will use protection. Thank you, Daniel. Careful I will be.
Okay, where's the drinks cabinet?
Uh,
And what time is it? We're past noon, excellent.
I feel like we accomplished a lot right there.
I think that was so important. Like that was so really truly.
Yeah, we did good, guys.
So the rabbi starts setting up shop a little bit. Like he takes out his book, he finds a place to sit, and it seems like he's getting ready to maybe say a prayer or something. But Peter goes up to him. He's like, if you could just hold on a second, I wanted to make some words before we started the service. And he dinks his cup with his fork. He goes, tension, everyone. thank you guys. Thank you all for coming out today. This is a really hard time for my family, and I'm sure it's a hard time for many of you, as Linda was well loved, and rightly so. I just thought maybe we should take some time to reminisce, on the good memories, and let that be her legacy. And I think it'd be great if we all shared a little something. I'd like to start by remembering our wedding day. And if you could all turn your attention to the TV. And he points to the fireplace, which has a TV mounted above it. It's in this living room area. And he presses a button on a remote that he has in his pocket. And
Oh God, are we gonna watch their wedding video?
and the music starts playing, and it's a familiar tune of "Here Comes the Bride."
Right.
And it's really, and so the wedding video begins. And it just keeps going. It's like they had it was a really long and elaborate ceremony. The venue was beautiful, perfect bouquets lining the archway, the wedding arch behind them. But after you admire the bouquets and you realize that the video is still going, you yawn a little bit. But eventually they get past like the pomp and circumstance, and they get to the wedding vows. And it's strange to see her again and in this video and know that she's no longer alive. She's not here anymore. And that's kind of bizarre, and it's hard for a lot of people. And and Miss Robinson actually has to leave the room. Like she can't handle it. And Linda's parents are holding each other. You actually see Linda's parents in the video. They're sitting in the front row of the crowd. And Linda starts saying her wedding vows, and she talks about how they first met when they were in high school, and kind of how it was so strange. And Peter was really had the hots for her, but she wasn't feeling it at first. It was he was very forward, but she warmed up to him eventually. And Linda and Peter makes his vows, and he talks about how he knew from the second he laid eyes on her that they were soulmates, and she almost seemed too good to be true. Like he never thought he would land her, but he was nervous. He spent a lot of time working up the courage to approach her that one day. And it's and it ends up being really sweet. So for as boring as it was, your heart's a little warmed by it. It's a nice thing to see two people in love getting married. But the video ends, and there's like an awkward silence, and he's kind of like, does anyone else have anything that they'd like to share? Any good memories of Linda?
When Mrs. Robinson leaves, I'd like to follow.
Okay. So can you please make, this is gonna be we're making a lot of unobtrusiveness rolls, but this is an unobtrusiveness roll.
Oh, I'm not
Make
trying to
it
hide. I want to go and like comfort her.
Oh. Oh, okay. I thought you were just like
Definitely.
being sneaky.
I'm not gonna
Sorry.
sneak after her.
I
No,
kind
I'm
of
just gonna.
assumed.
I'm gonna go
Yes,
out and
yes,
like
of course.
if she goes out, I'm gonna be like.
Yeah. And um and she's kind of babbling. And it's kind of hard to understand what she's saying, but when you go to comfort her, she like immediately kind of like grabs onto you and like collapses a little bit. And and she starts mumbling. You hear her say like he ruined her. And she's
Well, there's certainly something strange going on here. I remember my first marriage. I think it ruined both of us. The second one too, come to that.
she pulls away from you a little bit. She stares down at the ground, and she says, like, that poor girl. The poor girl.
Yes, it is terrible what happened. I tried to get to the scene as quick as I could to try and administer some first aid. But, or at least get someone in who could, take control, but, I don't think there was any way, Mrs. Robinson.
She looks up at you, and she looks kind of like, her eyes look hollow, and she's like, it should have been him. And she sits on the stairs.
Sit down next to her. Actually, before I do, I happen to have taken a bottle out of the drinks cabinet if you'd like a drink.
I don't know if that's a good idea right now. I'm a weepy drunk.
Well, I'd say if there's ever a time to be weepy, it's at a Shiva. But, no, I won't, I wouldn't like to force your hand. I'll just sort of put the bottle to one side and sit down next to her.
Did you know her well?
Honestly, no. You're probably the person I know best on the entire street. At least spend the most time with, but Linda did make me feel welcome when I first moved in.
She twiddles her thumbs and she says, I don't know that coming here was such a great idea. I do much better with this processing on my own. But you're very sweet. Comforted me.
Well, yes, and, you've shown your face. So, as far as the community is concerned, you've been here and you've done your bit, and you don't need to stress yourself out by staying too long, If you would rather head back, that's fine. I'll even walk you if you wish, but, I can't help but wonder, Mrs. Robinson, you say that Linda was ruined, and and all the rest, and I mean, is there anything more to it? You know, they often say that, you know, relationships change people, but I don't know, there seems something more intense about the way you're talking.
Her eyes kind of wake up a little bit as if she's like remembered something. She's like, oh, I'm just a bitter old woman. Don't mind me. I say nonsense sometimes, but I can make my way back on my own. But I really appreciate you looking out for me, Daniel.
Well, I'd do anything for the old shrew on the block. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, Daniel, what are we gonna do with you?
All right.
Kind of
Well,
pinch your cheek a little bit.
you take it steady on the way back. I know Poplar Lane's safe enough, so I won't worry about you. But thank you for coming out. And if anyone asks, I'll tell them that you were feeling a little overwhelmed.
Of course. And if you see Sally, do give her my condolences.
I do hope to see Sally, though I believe that's part of the reason we're not seeing her, too.
And, she frowns, but she then stands up and grabs her coat from the coat rack and take care of yourself, Daniel.
I usually do.
She'll exit the household.
I muse for a moment on the porch before heading back in.
When we realized that they're playing the whole wedding video, as part of Peter's like words of remembrance, would I have seen any kind of like external cameras or internal cameras, like security, surveillance, home surveillance system?
You don't see any home surveillance system inside, but you do know that they have an outdoor surveillance system. Like that's just kind of like they have like the little sign in the front yard that says like protected, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But you don't see anything inside the house.
I might just meander around the house, and I'm looking for a terminal. And so the way this would normally be set up is if it's wired, then it'll go to like a central terminal where everything's being recorded into its own little standalone console. If it's wireless, then it would be sending signals to even things like something like a home computer, something like that.
Yeah. So there's so through the kitchen, there's a door that leads to a smaller office. It's not the main office. The main office, you know, if this floor plan is anything like your home, which it probably is, because most of these homes have very similar floor plans, you know that there's probably a space for the main office on the second floor. But there's a small office on the first floor. It looks like it's probably the place where Sally does her homework. You know, there's like lots of school papers scattered about, and you know, some like empty bowls that have like dried up cereal at the bottom that someone probably left there days ago. It's not a very clean space, but there is a computer. There is a computer there.
Okay. I would like to sit down at it and see what's on it.
Okay, so you unlock the computer with ease. There's no password to unlock the computer. There's like an email application. There is the home security application. There's, you know, like, and like the web browser, but it seems Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
It seems like a pretty bare bones computer.
Right. Yeah. So the surveillance
Hmm.
software, I would like to access um, the data folder wherever it stores its data on the computer.
Mhm.
So not the actual program itself, but the data on the folder.
Yeah.
And I would like to route that to a cloud
Okay.
so that it goes to my phone.
Okay.
If I need to roll hacking for that, I can do that.
So actually getting the files isn't too much of an issue. It's just that they're encrypted. So you don't have to necessarily worry about that right now, but you can actually pretty easily copy those files
Okay. Cool.
and get them to your phone.
All right. I also have data retrieval, so one of those two might be of use.
Yeah, I mean this one this is actually pretty straightforward. You know, like you didn't even need to like really like be an expert. You just kind of like found the folder for the application, found the files. You know, you probably checked them out and saw that they're encrypted, but you can manage to get them onto your phone pretty easily.
And then I'll step back out like I was just checking my email.
Yeah. So okay. And when you step out, like are you trying to be low key? Are you trying to
Yeah, but I'm just kind of making it seem like I'm just trying to be respectful of the tone, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm trying not to make any noise, be disrespectful of what's happening in the other room.
Okay. Cool. And James, what were you doing during this wedding video?
I think James initially was watching the video, but as it sort of dragged on, he started looking at the other people in the room and looking. I was wondering if I could use notice for that to see whether people were gravitating towards each other, sharing looks with each other that are not quite entirely appropriate in the face of a memorial wedding video, so to speak.
Yeah, you can definitely use notice. So notice is another investigative ability for people at home. Yeah, so you can use notice, and you see that first of all, when Miss Robinson left, it was when during the video Peter started talking about how they first met, and like she just kind of like scrunches up her face, and that's when she leaves the room. And you see that you also do see that Sheila seems to be distracted. You know, she's definitely not at all like interested in the video, and in fact she's checking her phone. And the rest of the people there all seem pretty much like they're all just like watching, and they seem solemn, and it could be that they're faking it could be that they're interested, but no one's like making like weird faces or anything. But like the Romanos are, they seem like sympathetic. Everyone seems sympathetic.
I think when Benjamin sort of comes back into the room, James sort of gravitates towards him as well naturally as possible, really, just adjusting his position as a loner. He's not saying anything yet, but just he's probably gonna at some point when it's appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, eventually the video ends, and other people are like taking their turns, just like sharing like positive memories of Linda, and the atmosphere seems like a little bit less like everyone's focus zoomed in on this movie. Things have relaxed a little bit.
Where'd you hop off to?
Wanted to take a peek at anything I might be able to get from their security cameras over in the office.
And?
Really want to see if maybe somebody came in that, maybe that don't live here.
Yeah, no, that's... Did you find anything?
I haven't actually gotten a chance to look yet. I've got the files on my phone, though. I'll be able to look later. I was afraid somebody might walk in on me.
Like, do you think they'll be able to see that you did that?
I don't think so.
Alright, good. We should take a look.
Say it again?
I think after that it's over. We should take a look at that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I might have to do a little bit of decrypting work on it, but shouldn't be hard.
Mm-hmm. You know, I can... If you need any help, I can help.
Sure. As a Bitcoin trader, I'm a pretty smart guy.
Bitcoin, huh?
This was before the crash. I pulled right on out. Then I got back in.
Oh my gosh.
All right, then let's see how good your Bitcoin skills are for image data retrieval.
Yeah. I'm sure it's very. It's like yeah. It's like going from two different kinds of languages that are very similar, but different. Yes. I'm sure it'll be a breeze.
James is just smiling a little, listening to Benjamin talk about this. Who all goes out to talk, really?
Everyone there takes a turn to go up and share stories of Linda. I mean, some of them are more personal than others. A lot of them seem to be pretty surface level, just like, oh, that one time she like helped me, like she gave me good advice on like how to manicure my petunias, and then others are a little bit more personal, like I was able to go to her when I lost my father, and she was supportive. So everyone has a different experience with her, but nothing seems unusual. I don't think anyone wants to get too personal. Everyone seems like they're just trying to keep their distance from their feelings.
All right.
People actually kind of start to look at all of you. Like, are any of you gonna say anything? But like no one's actually saying anything to you. Like they're all just kind of like, giving you like that look, like, oh, like, are you gonna go next?
I feel like I would do a bad job.
I guess if I wander in at some point, I would. Sorry, I needed some air.
Oh, and Peter turns to you. Oh, it's totally understandable. Did you have anything you wanted to share with us about maybe a positive memory you have of my dear wife?
I suppose I could. Yes, I remember the first time I came to the to this place, this wonderful lane, thanks to my dear wife and children, who unfortunately can't be here today. Working late, you know how it is, and school activities and all that sort of business. Linda made me feel most welcome. I remember she came out in that little pink blouse and was a wonderful host. I was, of course, here alone, as I often am. And she extended the welcoming gestures, tea and inviting me round to wonderful barbecue meetups like we had recently, and well, she was just wonderful, really. It's a shame, a terrible shame for all of us, and my heart goes out to Peter and the family, of course, Linda's.
Can you make a test in public relations?
Public relation bullshit.
I can, and I will add 2 to this roll.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Do I want to use an advantage? I've got 3 advantages. I might as well use one. So I got a 4 and an 8.
Oh,
Nice. Okay. 1 second. I just phones are very hard. So, okay. So, your little speech inspires Linda's parents to approach you, and after everyone wraps up their other speeches, and they shake your hand. They introduce themselves as Linda's parents. They have, I'm not going to attempt this accent because I'm really bad at accents, but they have a New York Yiddish accent, and they so the father says, those were some very kind words you had for our dear daughter.
Just for the Brit in the room. Is New York Yiddish like Christopher Walken? Oh. We lost Jay. Jay down.
bye.
What New York Yiddish? What does that sound like? Is it just like a regular New York, or like do we have an
Yiddish?
actor? Yeah. Do we have like an actor or anyone else that sounds like that, or?
I mean, I'm an actor, but I don't do New York Yiddish.
Okay. I mean, like, because,
okay.
I like when people say New York, I immediately think like Christopher Walken. Like they talk like this, right? In New York, like this all the time. Christopher Walken, maybe Christopher Flying. We'll see.
Okay, so my phone died. I'm on my laptop right now, but there's like the internet could die at any second, so heads up. But this should be fine, and hopefully it just doesn't
We
die.
got you. So I was just wondering, like, I asked, what does New York Yiddish sound like? Like, is there an actor or anyone that I would know that like sounds like this? Like, I was asking if maybe Christopher Walken or something like that, but.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, lots of, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an actor with a New York Yiddish accent. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Mel
But
Brooks,
lots of,
chat
like,
suggesting?
And, like, huts and,
Oh, okay. I got you.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So my pleasure, really. I wish there was more I could do. I'd tell the pair of you as soon as we heard that god-awful bang, I was here as quick as I could be, ready to help out. Unfortunately, there wasn't much anyone could do until the ambulance arrived, or at least so we were told. Terrible shame. Terrible.
And, well, I'm sure that she would have been very appreciative to have friends that that are always there to look out for her. You know, she didn't always have a lot of friends. Growing up, you know, she had a rough time. As once after we revealed to her that she was adopted, it kind of sent her off for a long time in high school, and she retreated into her shell quite a bit.
I'm sure you both did the very best you could. It's always difficult parenting. Believe me, I know. Thank God for boarding school, eh?
They look at each other and like they seem very disturbed by.
It was a boy. I say as explanation.
Oh, and then they look at each other again, like, oh.
Yes. That was was that wife number 2 or wife number 3? I can't remember, but it was a time.
Yeah, no, yeah, and they think that you're funny. They take a liking to you, and they say, you know, I feel like as of late we haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with her. You know, she's been so busy with Peter and his campaign. But we're always around if you need to remember, or you want to know more about Linda.
Are you on the lane?
No, we're not on the lane, but we're not far either. About 15 minutes drive.
I say perhaps I could take your number and we could exchange numbers, and I'll be just as there for you if you wanted to grieve. I'm told I have a good ear for listening.
I'm sure you do, and they give you business cards.
Oh, business cards, that's perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
I thought I'd have to use the flaming mobile device.
They both of them have similar business cards. They apparently run a bakery, a kosher bakery.
I suppose it's very nice, handy in a pinch if you need some dough.
Lol. Everybody take a second to lull.
Lol. Lol. Raffle.
You're the worst. Why am I on this show?
Me, or is it getting hot in here?
Yeah, but if you ever just want to reminisce, and you know, we're around, and feel free to try our knishes.
I would love to. I will definitely come along and check out some of these fine pastries. They look amazing.
I mean, they are only the best. Only the best. Best in town, that is. But it was really nice to meet you here.
And you. Always a pleasure.
And they go and they sit themselves down for to listen to the rabbi's mourner's Kaddish, which is a Jewish prayer for mourning. And the rabbi is now like standing where Peter once was stood and is kind of like leading the group in, you know, and reciting this prayer for everyone. What is Benjamin up to right now?
I would totally just be, you know, I guess just checking my phone, making sure that those, that all the files made it up there, to the cloud, successfully. And, I'm really just, try to be present and as respectful as possible.
When you're on your phone, you get a notification for a message from Sheila, who, when you look up, you see is also like on her phone. And she yeah, so you get that notification if you so choose to open it up.
I do. Oh yeah.
And she's like, "This thing's pretty boring, huh?"
I should get myself a DM, boys. The worst.
Do you want to bounce? I know a bar, couple downtown.
Yeah. I'll button to the 5th button.
On a scale of on a scale of 2 to 6, how many abs can we see right now?
It depends on how far back I stretch.
Oh my god.
It's pretty boring.
And someone answered your wish, Gabriel, and gifted me a disadvantage.
Yeah. So I'll slide the old phone back into the pocket and put the plate up and find Daniel, and if Peter asks any, or if anybody asks, it's just it's a little, it's a little too much. I wanted to be here to support, but I think I've hit my limit on all that I can take for today. So I'm gonna, and I'll side on over to Sheila. 2 bars, you say? All right.
Yeah, we can go hopping if you want.
I'm ready to hop. Let's go hop.
Let's go.
We can hop on into my car.
Hop on into your car, get some hops, and then hop from bar to bar.
All right.
Yeah. No one really seems to be paying that much attention to you right now, so leaving shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Great.
James does stop Benji as he's walking past, and he just goes like, "Could you still send me that link to that game?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just get it installed if you don't mind."
Sheila's like, "Oh, you two are friends?"
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed you were James. You were out yesterday. How did you get home all right? I mean, I guess you did. You're here now.
Yeah. I got home fine. Well, you're leaving, but you look good.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it was good seeing you here. You might want to get that checked out.
Oh, that's here to stay. But
I know a really good, I have a girl that does really good laser.
All right.
You want to get that fixed up?
I'm not saying no. So, but you have a good night. He sort of looks from Benjamin to Sheila and back.
I kind of step back a little bit, and I'm looking at James like,
"Oh, would you like to join us, James?"
No, thank you.
Are you sure? We're just gonna go mourn a little bit more privately.
Yeah,
No,
James.
I'm-
Like, you're welcome to come. It would
James
be great if you
Can I
did.
say that's like a test? No.
just staring at Benjamin like, are you fucking with me? Or, like, what's happening here?
I'm looking at James like, no, you should come, man.
Are you serious? He's like talking just softly enough so Benjamin can hear it, trying really not.
I'll just slap my microphone stand. I'll put like a hand on his shoulder, like, man, you should come, and I'll put like just a bit of extra grip, like, really don't.
No, I'm fine. Like I said, I need to do some work at home.
Okay.
That makes sense. But we'll miss you. Maybe next time. Sheila?
Well, Sheila seems a little disappointed. She's like, well, maybe next time the three of us can get together and go bar hopping. And
Can we get James some wingman points? Like,
Wingman, that should have been a skill.
yeah,
Right.
I definitely get wingman points for that. It's not functional in game, but you get them.
they don't mean anything, but you got them.
So congrats. Yeah, and as you guys head out, the rabbi is wrapping up his little speech, and eventually, and around that same time, Sally and Jake kind of creep their way down the stairs. And they have their heads down, and but they sit in a corner, and they're kind of like whispering to each other, and they just seem very grim. They seem like they're probably like the most emotional right now. Everyone seems a little bit like more relaxed after sharing these stories and these experiences, and everyone seems to have calmed down from it. But like they got a little bit of their feelings out. But Sally and Jake both seem like they're still like in the thick of it.
James sees them, but he's not gonna go near after like nearly establishing himself as a semi-neighborhood pervert.
Yeah. In fact, Jake is actually. I keep saying James. I meant to say Jake. Jake kind of is like glaring at you, like protectively, like it's kind of like, don't come near us, or don't come near Sally, especially like because Sally is very fragile right now. She seems like she's like about to like combust into tears at any second.
Yeah, the second he meets that gaze, James just seems mortified again, like deeply, deeply mortified. And he just he makes sure not to get even in the phonicity of those two.
So Peter goes up to the two of them, and he kind of puts his hand on Jake's shoulder, who kind of shrugs it off a little bit, and he looks at Sally and sighs, and doesn't even like bother to try to like say anything to Sally, which seems odd.
Bloody suspicious.
I wonder how she's doing. But we can't exactly ask her.
You see Miss Robinson. Miss Robinson goes up to Sally and gives Sally a big hug. And Sally starts crying in Miss Robinson's arms. And Peter, who was talking to Susanna Romano after just walking away from Sally, he like drops his glass and it shatters.
I look at Daniel, like,
Daniel immediately is like looking around the room to see how people react to the glass breaking.
Yeah, so Susanna is the first to react because she was standing right next to Peter, and she's like, "Oh, let me clean this up for you," and she seems very casual about it. And the rest of the people there, which is pretty much just like the Goodmans and like Sheila's parents, they don't seem to really think much of it, like people, like they kind of like look over as if they're gonna go help, but then they realize they see that Susanna's taking care of it, and they just kind of leave it be.
Tell you what, James, Mrs. Robinson was slightly suspicious of Peter for some reason. She could have just been upset, but I might see if I can get some time with the old chap. See if I can take him out for a bit of a private conversation. I'll do it under the guise of getting him a new drink. Perhaps you could run blocker on Susanna for me. I saw the way you were with Benji just then.
what do you want me to say to Susanna?
Oh, I don't know. Anything you like.
I don't know her.
Oh, well, introduce yourself. It'll be pleasant, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right.
So we approach?
Yeah.
Oh, Peter, that is a shame. Come on, old chap, let's get you another drink.
All right. I'll see you later, Susanna. And he walks off with you.
I just sort of like try to physically block them, not obviously, but I'm a large dude, so it probably works. Nah, just like I.
Just shoulder check.
Susanna's like, "Oh, be careful, there's broken glass."
Oh yeah, you want me to don't worry, sorry, I've been incredibly rude. James Huntley.
Oh, hi. I can't believe we haven't formally introduced ourselves to each other. I'm Susanna Romano.
Yeah, I know you, but we've never. No, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, you'd think that it's such a small lane, and very strange.
I'll admit, mostly my fault. I'm not very good at networking, but it's very nice to make your acquaintance.
And you as well. What do you do?
I am a photographer and editor. I do some work for magazines and mostly online work.
Wow, I'm actually looking for a photographer to do some family portraits.
Yeah, I could. Well, depends on what you want, and if I can't make it work, I know exactly people who can make it work. So.
Awesome. Do you have a business card or LinkedIn?
Yes, I'll. He gets his wallet out and he gets a small business card out of it, and he hands it to her. It has
Awesome.
my site on there, portfolio, everything, so you can just shoot a message at your own convenience. And yeah.
I absolutely will. Thank you so much.
No problem.
It's great meeting you.
Yes. James seems to be a little bit like, how do I keep this conversation going? Just hoping that Daniel has time to do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah, she's actually like about to like turn away. In the meantime, so Peter walks off with you, Daniel. Yeah, sorry. What was that?
Straight to the drinks cabinet, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, I just got butterfingers. You know, my hands are a little
Peter,
shaky right now.
you don't need to be worried about that. Everyone here understands you've been through an awful lot. I, wish I could have got here sooner yesterday, you know?
I don't think anything could have changed it. What happened, and, you know, accidents, you just can't prepare for them, you know?
Yes, yeah, it is pretty awful. I heard they fell in the toilet. Lying.
Oh, okay. Who told you that?
I just heard it, possibly from, maybe James or someone else like that. I might have misconstrued.
So you're spending are you spending an investigation point on that?
I'd love to. I want to see how he reacts.
I haven't even spoken to James about anything that happened yesterday. That's incredibly inappropriate of him to go spreading rumors like that.
Oh, well, I'm sure it didn't mean any harm. It might not have even been James, to be honest. You know how these things are. I've had a couple of sherries. I'm not really sure who I've spoken to.
Well, I'll have you know, she absolutely did not fall off a toilet. She fell down the stairs. Old staircase, and, you know, accidents happen. It was very tragic, but she absolutely did not fall into the toilet. And if James is the one that spread that to you, I will have words with him, because that is so disrespectful.
Honestly, I don't think it was James. It might have even been from a documentary I was watching last night. I'm sorry, Peter. I didn't mean to make you bring this all up again. Fell down the stairs. Oh, terrible racket stairs. Terrible. Dangerous. Should have stair lifts in all houses.
Well, I mean, we were hoping we wouldn't need those until we were old and decrepit, but, you know, I'm starting to rethink everything. Just watching Sally go up and down the stairs gives me a heart attack nowadays. I mean,
I can imagine. If only I could do short distance flights, eh? That's a joke, Peter. I apologize. Maybe it's not in good taste.
I mean, yeah, everyone copes differently, so I'm in no place to judge. I mean, listen, we didn't throw her funeral. I mean, I just don't. I don't know if I could deal with all that tragedy. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm more of a, you know, I cope better in an uplifting environment. So I understand.
Yes, well, me too. More literally, but same feeling. Here, was it sherry or brandy you wanted? Or?
I'll go with some brandy. Yeah.
There you are. Seems a bit cheeky to give you brandy from your own thing and say there you are, but there you go. Just awful. Just awful.
Yeah, really, really a tragedy.
He seems quite cloistered. Daniel's wondering if, no matter how delicate he is with his lines of questioning, he may not be willing to reveal anything. He feels like he may have fumbled a bit by mentioning the toilet.
What are you trying? Like, what's your intention? Like, is
I'm
there
just-
something you're looking for specifically, or?
No, I just like to look out for when people let slip things they shouldn't.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. I mean, he definitely seems like he's got it together right now, and despite the fact that he dropped his glass, he doesn't seem like he's drunk or especially nervous. It seems like he was just like caught off guard or something, and that's why he dropped his glass. But since you mentioned the whole toilet thing, and I don't think he's like feeling like especially willing to like open up right now or anything.
Yeah. Definitely picking up on that, so I'll try and just be a little more consoling, I guess. Yep, there's not a lot that can go on here. You've done admirable work, Peter. You're really putting on a good show for the community. Standing upright and looking strong. I must commend you, honestly.
Well, I only just won this election, and I have no intention of letting our people down this early on. I gotta put on a brave face and make sure I do our community right. It deserves a strong leader.
I find it interesting that he's thinking about community so early. Yes, of course. Yeah, it's very important to be to put community first and all of that business. I must admit, I don't normally get involved in these sort of things. What with being away 90% of the year. It's appreciated though, the effort that you all put in. Nothing quite like seeing everyone's lawns the same length grass. It gives you a warm feeling inside.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's only part of it. I mean, there's a lot more than just lawn regulation that we do in the town council. I'm really excited to get our community center up and running. I think that's really gonna be a game changer. But I don't know if this is the time for.
I agree.
For that kind of discussion. I mean, it's just something I'm passionate about, so.
Well, look, when you and Linda welcomed me to the community so many months ago, I still remember just how welcoming you were, and I'll always remember Linda as a cheerful, bright soul by your side.
And then, and with that, he kind of gives like a half smile, and he's reminded yet again. He seems like he distracted himself effectively by talking about the community, and but you reminded him of Linda, and he sinks a little bit back down to
Linda.
To Linda. He drinks away. So we have Benjamin, who's heading out with Sheila.
Mm-hmm.
They're hitting the bar.
Mm-hmm. Benjamin spends lots of money.
Sheila's impressed. Like watching you buy her those drinks, and I mean, are you buying her drinks?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. And she's taking advantage of that. She's really taking advantage of that. And it almost seems like she's been waiting to like turn up for a while now.
Well,
And she's needed this for some time. She at some point she pulls you away from the bar and onto the dance floor. And she's doing her thing. She's going hard. She's like really like she's got a lot of energy, way more energy than you saw her have at the Shiva, and you're getting the impression that she's really loosened up.
yeah, okay. Benjamin then is like really excited but nervous because he's like, I really hope I don't screw this up. But also he's like, yeah. And so he's like looking around, just make sure everybody's like, like, check me out. This girl and me, right? Yeah. And so, he's Benjamin's loving it. And so he's just kind of doing his best to follow Sheila's lead on all that.
Yeah, she can tell that you're like kind of like trying really hard, and she's like trying to get you relaxed. She's like, drink up, boy. Like, let's have some fun.
Yeah, whatever she coaxes Benjamin into doing.
Yeah. So she's also encouraging you to drink.
Yeah, she hands me a shot. I take 2 shots.
There we go. Okay. Cool. Can you make a sense trouble test?
Yes. Okay. I've got 2 points in this left.
You don't have to spend points.
Okay. Instead, I'm going to roll it with advantage from Estes.
There we go.
Thanks, Estes. I got a 1 and a 5.
Okay.
5.
So with the 5, you can tell that she wants you drunk.
1 second, guys. I'm so sorry.
And so James, okay. Oh no, we're back. I think we're good. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, so let's just continue with that one then. Yeah, so she's trying to get you drunk.
Right. I'm with it.
Okay, and yeah.
The plan is to get to where she thinks I'm drunk, but I'm not actually drunk. Right?
Okay.
So I'm like, just right up, like just walking up to the edge of drunkenness, but I'm still like, I'm totally in control.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, can you make a can you make an all over the place. How about a stability test?
Ooh. Yeah. I can do that. All right, D6, boom. 3.
3. Okay. So as you're dancing, you can as you're dancing, yeah, she's like on top of you. And
This is going well.
yeah, and it's going really well for you. So let's cut back to James handling. And so we left you with Susanna,
Mm-hmm.
who seems to be wanting to head out at this point. And she's actually like saying goodbye to everyone. She's saying goodbye to Miss Robinson. And she's saying goodbye to the kids. She's actually kind of like, she says, you can hear her say to Jake, don't stay out too late, and make sure you get home before it gets dark. And she's heading home. The party, not the party. It's not really a party. The Shiva. Yeah, the Shiva seems to have like very much like it's like winding down.
Yeah, I think because James looks around and there's pretty much nobody there who he feels he could like talk to naturally. Is everybody he could sort of strike up a conversation with has left, or is either involved in a conversation. So I think he is actually going to follow to where Daniel left to at least say bye to Peter.
Yeah, Peter says goodbye. He's very grateful that you came through. Yeah, he says he hopes to see you in better times.
Yeah, James is definitely a lot less hostile than he was the evening before. Composing himself way better this time, and he just politely says goodbye, and he he sort of looks at Daniel, and James sort of says to Daniel like, do you want to like just like grab a drink tomorrow or something?
I'm always up for a drink, James.
Yeah, alright. Then I'll see you later, I guess. And Peter, like, if you need anything, I mean, everybody's probably said it before, but, he just awkwardly nods and he heads out.
And so, the last person left, or the last person out of the three of you at this Shiva is now Daniel. So now the only people actually left there are Linda's parents, Peter, Sally, Jake, and the Goodmans.
Ah, yes, well, I can see the numbers dwindling, and I don't want to be the last one to leave. That gets incredibly awkward. So I will tell Peter I'm gonna go round and say my goodbyes and last well wishes, and then I think I'll be off.
Is there, as you make your rounds, everyone seems to be, warm in their goodbyes, except for Sally and Jake, who seem to be in their little world. Linda's parents, especially, seem to have taken a liking to you, and they give you a big warm goodbye, and they remind you to keep in touch.
I most certainly will. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and you can leave with ease.
Yep, we'll go round and shake hands and say goodbye and kisses on the cheek and all of that that boomer sort of greetings and leaving stuff,
So when you leave, sorry, when as you're leaving, your wife actually is heading in.
Oh, there she is.
She
I knew I'd find you somewhere.
Are you heading out? You didn't even tell me that this was happening. I had no idea.
Yes, well, I honestly didn't realize myself. I spent most of the day people watching, you know how it is, and I just got so lost in it. Did you have a good day, though?
No. I was very upset at the loss of my friend.
I can
And
imagine.
I would have really liked to be here.
Yes, I can appreciate that.
When did Peter tell you?
Good question. Good question. They came round last night, in fact, and told us all. I probably could have told you this morning.
Yeah, you think? And she kind of like shoves you aside and makes her way in there and to greet Peter and wish him condolences and whatnot.
Daniel, dude, you got that sassy wife.
You know, bit of excitement in number 6. I'm gonna head back anyway. Have fun. I'm gonna leave
She's
without her.
Yeah, she's like, now she feels like she's clearly like gonna stay to the end and make sure that her presence there was known. She feels bad that she missed the whole event. So Benjamin, you're dancing with
Sheila, yes.
Sheila. Yeah, so you're dancing with Sheila, you're having a good time. And eventually she starts to yawn. She seems like she's pretty tired.
Oh,
Well, this was a lot of fun, Benjamin. I had a really good time.
Surely you're not tired yet.
I'm really tired.
No.
Like, I'm really tired.
No. We're having a great time.
Yeah, I had so much fun. I'm gonna go home.
No, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I had fun too.
Well, we should do this again sometime. For sure. And she like puts her hand on your chest, like, yeah.
Yeah. This exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like, I'm just like really tuckered out from all excuse my stomach. My stomach is like going crazy right now. I'm hungry. But I'm like really like tuckered out from all that like emotion. Like,
Oh yeah.
really
Yeah, me
exhausting.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like just like being sad all day, like
that was just yeah. I hate it. Yeah. It's so much better here.
So much better.
You want to I'm actually really still sad. Are you still sad?
I'm thriving. And she just like puts her arms in the air and like spins around. You know, in fact, I'm really happy. Like, I'm just like, I'm really happy.
I wish I had that. The thriving. I wish I had what you had.
Yeah. Well, you know, you just gotta like look on the bright side sometimes, and like, you know, maybe if like Linda's dead, you know, she just like was meant to die, you know?
Maybe. It's impossible to say. Maybe we're all supposed to sometime.
Yeah, I mean, we're all gonna die one day.
You know what? We're not yet, though.
We're not. No, we're not.
We're not.
So we have to live like we're gonna die.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna sleep right now. She's like, oh, I think my Uber's here. Well, this was great, Benji boy.
Yeah.
She boops you.
Boop.
See you on the lane.
Yeah, see ya.
And
gonna go be
she
sad.
wobbles her way to that Uber, leaving you at this bar.
All right.
Which actually isn't like that great of a bar. Like you guys were the most lit there. Like everyone else was just kind of like
Oh, damn.
lame.
Like
Which you didn't realize there because like Sheila had so much energy and was like totally there to party, so you didn't even notice that the rest of the bar is just kind of like
right. Yeah. Yeah.
dead. And right now the bar is dead.
Oh man, I could have told her that she lit the room up. All right. Yeah. Missed opportunity. Well, I will be forgetting to send James that link because I'm too sad. So I'll remember to do that tomorrow. And I will also recall, probably wait until tomorrow to recall any kind of useful information about the experience that I had with Sheila. But for now, I'm just sad.
Yes, very sad.
Just sad Benji at the bar.
Well, we have sad Benji at the bar. Dreams, you go home. It's been a long emotional day. How does James unwind?
James is pretty much going to, well, for him, it's going to be a night as if nothing really happened, in the sense that he's just going to try to get back into whatever he normally does, sit a little bit behind his laptop, then eventually drag his ass to bed at around 1, and just sort of think about how much he wishes he was better at talking to people, because he realizes today that he is so looking at Benjamin and Daniel, who are floating around him and are asking the questions that he really wants to ask. He feels so he's a little bit jealous of them, and he's pondering that over as he sort of goes to bed.
And Daniel, you make your way home. Your wife's kids are sound asleep. And how are you unwinding?
Well, I think I'm gonna go down into the basement, where I have a large chalkboard. I'm gonna take some bits of paper and I'm gonna start writing on them. Linda, big bit of paper, put it right in the middle. And I'm gonna make another one that says Peter and put a red string between the two. And I'm gonna continue with this and create my own conspiracy chalkboard in the basement.
And with the conspiracy man, the jealous man, and the sad man, we're gonna wrap up this episode.
Fantastic session, Jay. Fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I feel
Well done.
so out of it right now, so I
know.
really appreciate that.
With the mobile issues and everything as well, literally your mobile died and you were back within boom.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
kept
I
it
mean,
up.
well, the thing is that with my laptop, it's very erratic, so it turns on and off all the time, which I'm really glad that we got through the rest of it without that happening, though. So
Yeah, well, we made it. We made it,
yes,
Um,
we made it.
So we do have credits this time. so we won't go round. But what we will do is direct your attention towards the closing links, especially because I forgot to do the opening links. So important information there. You can find all the information about us and our community. We'll be hopping over to Discord to talk about conspiracies, jealousy, and sadness. We'll also please check out the links there to our sponsors, Bird and the Storm Publishing and Mage Hand Press, both of whom we're very grateful to because they make this all very possible. Thank you all for all of your support today, all of the subs and biddy donations. We appreciate all of you. Yeah, 2 years on Twitch, everyone. So here we are, 2 years on Twitch. Yeah, we'll be back in 2.5 hours with Doors of Dunera. It'll be episode 2 of season 2, E2S2, or S2E2 if you prefer. I'm very much looking forward to it. We'll also be back at the same time next week with an additional cast member. So look forward to that also. Until next time, everyone, keep on evoking emotions, and we'll see you later on. Bye.
Bye.